So, welcome. It's literally midnight in Singapore. Some of you ladies are not based in Singapore. Some of you ladies are from USA, America, Europe. I welcome you anyway. It's really late here in Singapore. Why am I doing a live now? Because I literally finished my last meeting coaching session 15 minutes ago, and I was on my feet coaching since 10 a.m. this morning. So I'm a little bit hoarse, but I know that I haven't been coming in to do sharing for a bit of time because of my busy schedule. And I just wanted to pop in to share this little message that I feel I'm inspired to share with you, all women. And that is a little snippet of my life when I was a young adult. So because I had a very abused childhood, and for the longest time, my mom would call me a burden. My mom would literally say to me, "You're a burden. You don't deserve to be born. You're a girl. You don't deserve to study. You should just grow up and quickly grow up and be a prostitute and go and sell yourself for money, or go and find a rich husband. You shouldn't study." And that was when I was 5 years old. The abuse began, and I was just so traumatized because I felt deeply betrayed by someone that's so close to me, my own mother. And my dad was just not present, right? My dad was always gambling, and he would come back when he's penniless, and we've got loan sharks and, people, debtors, knocking on the door. It was just horrible. And my mom would take it out on me, abusing me physically, verbally, thrashing me when I didn't do anything wrong. I would get beaten up, slapped, and with such great force that I would fly across the room. Yeah, so a couple of times I wanted to kill myself. One time at 8 years old, one time at 10 years old, I wanted to jump off the flat, the little window from my flat that time I was staying in. And I felt so sad, so sad because you're my mother, why are you treating me this way, right? I mean, friends don't even treat friends don't even treat one another this way, right? Why's my mother treating me that way? And I have so much grief, sadness, abandonment, hurt. And thank goodness I didn't jump because I'll probably be in a very different place now. The reason why I didn't jump was because I was scared that I won't die. I was scared that I would end up as a cripple. I'll lose my legs. I will smash I'll become paralyzed, become an idiot or something. And things wouldn't change, right? My dad will still be gambling. My mom will still be abusing me. And I will be in a hospital. I will be a cripple. I'll be paralyzed. It'll be worse. Thank God I didn't. And I made a resolution to myself at 10 years old that I'm going to fight for my own education. I'm going to fight for my own studies. And I got a job at 14 years old, and I managed to work and earn money and pay for my school, my lodgings. I moved out from home. I ran away from the abuse. Yay, I freed myself from the abuse since 14 years old. And I worked my ass off to make enough money to pay for my uniforms, my books, my lodgings, my expenses, my school fees, most importantly. And I actually made it to NUS, National University of Singapore, which is a top university at that time. Now it's dropped, but still amongst pretty good ones. But at that time, I remember it was one of the top 10 in the whole world. And I made it to the banking and finance faculty. And I graduated with a finance degree. But then I had so much anger in me, even though I got a good career in the bank, I had my dream apartment, but I couldn't enjoy my life because I made myself so sick. And because of the anger that I was carrying, the anger, the resentment, the hatred that I was carrying, I turned it inwards towards myself. And I just keep bashing myself up every day. I drank, I smoked, I ate junk food, I binge eat, and then I had bulimia, and I forced myself to throw up. I was running marathons. I was doing wakeboarding. I was going to the gym every other day, bashing myself because I couldn't deal with the deep sadness that I had towards, the trauma, the letdown, the abandonment that I felt from my mother, whom, I loved the most in this world. So what I wanted to share with you is this. For the longest time in my life, I was unable to see past my hurt. And so I was always addicted to my pain. I was always just, I was always negative. I couldn't see past my hurt, the abandonment, the rejection, the betrayal that I felt from my mother, and for the longest time in my life, I attracted all the wrong misfallings into my life because, when people were nice to me, when people were kind to me, when people want to help me, all I could hear was, they're out to get me, they're out to harm me, they're out to hurt me. I better be nasty, I better be fierce, I better tell them my peace of mind, because deep down inside, I felt that I wasn't deserving of anything good. And so because of that, even when good things were supposed to be happening to me, I managed to turn it sour. Relationships that were meant to blossom, I would poison them with my negativity, right? I remember that there was one time this guy, we were actually engaged, but I broke the engagement. And that was just before, my downfall, so-called, where I couldn't even stand up because I broke my knees and my spine from wakeboarding. And I remember that, when he brought up the subject of he would want to have children, I used whatever that I could get my hands on to make it mean that I'm not good enough, because inside my heart, I'm always, I wasn't really letting go of the hurt that I felt from my mom. And so to me, I created this construct in my head that nothing good's going to happen, right? And you know how our mind is always designed to be negative. We always think of the worst possible scenario. It's not our fault. It's not your fault. It's just how our minds have been are meant to be, because they are meant to protect us. They are meant to, if you study evolution, right? I mean, our ancestors, they need to plan. If you see the tiger coming, they need to be able to protect the tribe from being eaten by those lions and tigers. So the mind needs to know how to plan in such a way to avoid danger. So while that is good, right? While that is good, we forget that, we forget our own progresses. We forget that, we are no longer in the abuse. We're already out of the situation. For me, is even though I was physically away from my home, I was no longer beaten up, trashed, and cursed at by my mom. But inside my head, I was still having a mental hell at that time, which led me to keep doing the wrong actions, keep bashing myself, bash, eat, throw out, drink, smoke, run marathons, gym, I just couldn't be silent. I just cannot, because I don't, deep down inside, that I don't deserve the rest. I don't deserve to think positive thoughts. So, and until today, I still catch myself sometimes, okay, when I don't do my meditation, when I don't do my practice, when I don't do my prayers, I still catch myself focusing on the negative. And what I do is I force myself every day to write in my text pad. I literally have a gratitude journal, because I know that, first of all, human beings are kind of, we tend to be pigs, right? We all are guilty of that. We take things for granted. We take our own progress for granted. We take our wins for granted. When we have this progression, when we have this amount of progress, we feel that it's not enough. We want that, and we are not getting that. So we are focusing on that we're not getting, rather than focusing on what we have gained. So I literally have a gratitude journal that I keep in my text pad, on my notepad, on my phone. And every day, okay, I will sit down and then I will reflect, and I will write down bullet points of how I have transformed today compared to yesterday. Okay. And I literally divide my text pad, my gratitude journal, into 3 parts: work. Okay, how am I better in terms of my work today? My working relationships, how am I interacting with my team members today? Am I more patient? Am I more understanding? Am I more observant of the good things? Have I given enough appreciation? Am I expressing myself more clearly than yesterday? Am I less judgmental? Am I able to let go of triggers? Triggers meaning that, something happened, and because I didn't resolve my past hurt, so it triggers a negative response in me. Am I more organized than yesterday? This is like my work, the work gratitude journal in terms of my work domain. And then I have another domain that I call the personal domain for my gratitude journal. And here is where I talk about all the great things that are happening today. My husband came back from home without an accident, with safe and sound. I mean, touch wood, right? I wake up and I remember that I used to be able to not raise my head off, right? 20 years ago when I was really, my health was really in a mess, was my knees and my spine were like damaged. I couldn't walk. And I literally remind myself of how different I am today than 20 years ago. Because if I don't, right, if I don't remind myself, I'm telling you, I forget. I forget how painful it was. And then I take all those work done that I have created for granted. So, and also, how am I behaving in my personal relationships with my husband, with the in-laws, with my friends, with my students who are my friends, right? My clients are my friends as well. We have a community, right? And so, am I behaving in a better way than yesterday? Am I honoring myself more today? Am I caring about myself more? Because I have a history of being a workaholic, because I like to bash myself, right? Remember, I have this tendency in me that I want I want to really bash myself. I want to work very hard because I'm always proving. Don't know proving for what? proving myself to achieve an ideal that is an illusion, never there in the first place. And so today I measure my progress in terms of, am I giving myself self-care? Am I honoring myself? Am I having a clearer sense of direction in terms of where I want to be 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, in terms of my health, my career, my finances, my relationships, my personal growth, my wisdom, my spiritual development? These are all my markers for giving appreciation for how I've evolved compared to yesterday. They are part of my gratitude journal. And then I have another segment that I call the health and wellness domain. So today, of course, earlier I mentioned about being pain-free is one of my personal gratitude, right? Something that I give thanks under my personal domain for gratitude. Health and wellness is, I define it in terms of my body. How do I feel? How do I look? My youth, my anti-aging, my beauty factor. And this is something that I think is very important, because a woman must always take care of herself. I believe very strongly in that. We do not let go. We do not ever give up on our appearances. I'm not saying that we should be a supermodel or dress like a celebrity, but at least we should take pride in how we look, how we stand, and how we carry ourselves, right? Because it affects our self-respect, our dignity, our confidence, okay? How attractive we feel. So to me, under health and wellness, I will give appreciation to myself for, I look great. I look gorgeous. When I look in the mirror, I can, I feel like, oh, I'm attractive. So that's something that I learned to give thanks for, because I realized that it helps me to remember what are the right things to do. Make my juices, drink my smoothies, do my cleanses, do my alkaline rituals, the chia seeds, okay, the making the effort to prepare dinner at home instead of just ordering takeout. These are what matter in the long run on how our mobility, our strength, our radiance, our confidence are going to be, whether we heal or not, whether we can maintain the mobility or not. Because frankly, until today, my knees still have that cracking sound. Can you imagine? At one point of time, I couldn't walk. And until today, the cracking sound is still there. And I believe that I haven't gone back to check x-rays and all that for a long time, because back then I was doing a lot of checking and going to a lot of doctors and spending a lot of money consulting and blah, and blah, and blah, and nothing worked. And I found a method, and today I'm better than ever. I am stronger, I'm fitter, I'm slimmer. I look more gorgeous than I was 20 years ago. And I feel amazing compared to previously, compared to before. I was always feeling fatigued and sick and right? So the thing is, even though my knees still have that cracking sound, I don't have to suffer. I live a relatively pain-free life. Okay, most days I'm pain-free. The only times when I feel a bit of nagging ache in my knees and my back is when I do too much land demoing when I'm teaching. And you know, the best part is I know exactly how to heal myself by doing that few key poses in water and on land, and I'm able to get myself back in shape. And no surgery can offer me that. No drugs, no painkillers, no amount of consultation can give me that. No physiotherapy, no chiropractors, nothing. It's really my own body that I've learned to train and master, you know, mastery between the brain and the muscles. So anyway, coming back to my message, how do we make sure that we continue doing the right actions to bring us closer and closer to our goals? Number one, you need to know where you want to be. Okay, you need to create that destiny where you want to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 40, 50 years later, right? Now, 90 plus is the new norm. People live until 100 every other day. You see newspapers, you see articles about that. You need to know where you want to end up. Then you need to believe that you can get there. If you don't believe you can get there, reach out to us. Find a mentor, find a coach, find a qualified professional coach that can lead you there, who believes in you, who has a solid method, who's confident of leading you there. Then do the work, right? You need to do the work. And when you get the results, which you definitely will, if you work with us, definitely you will get results, okay? What are you going to do with that, right? Are you going to focus on the pain and continue to wake up thinking about I'm still in pain because this amount of pain haven't got rid of yet? Or are you going to, oh, I can walk stronger today. Today I'm more mobile than yesterday. I feel more balanced today. I have more stability today. Let's rejoice. Let's celebrate. Let's give gratitude and appreciation for ourselves, for our body, for our work, and for all the people involved that has brought me here. So this is so important because the psyche needs motivation. Our subconscious mind needs motivation. So if we get results and we keep, you know, like how I used to be, I already broke free of the trauma. I already broke free of the abuse because I ran away from home. I got my degree. I'm free already. Nobody was bashing me up. The only person bashing me was myself because I was so stuck in the negativity. I was so stuck in the nothing good is going to happen. Only the bad things will happen. And even if a good thing is appearing in front of me, a person is wanting to help me, it would trigger me into thinking that this is a harm, this is hurting me, this is going to be like my mom bashing me up and abusing me. And so I better either be nasty and be very fierce and scare the person off, like what I did to my one of the ex-boyfriend that I dated. You know, it's just bad news. You either was, you know, do something to poison the relationship, push the person away, scare the person away, or even if it is a good outcome, you are going to create something that will totally poison the outcome because of where your mind is. So the mind is so powerful. It's so powerful. And if we do not remember to focus on the right things, we will, you know, it's difficult. It's an uphill task. It's very difficult because the mind is always going back to the negative circumstances, going back, right? And first of all, it's not motivated to take the right actions. Little by little, you will fall, you regress, you fall back, go back to default, which is what the mind will be, you know, the mind is trained to do. And it's, you know, you keep creating and perpetuating the same destiny that you were traumatized about. So in order to break that, we want to break that, okay, you need to release it. We need to release that, whatever hurt, abandonment, rejection, whatever negative situation that was in the past that perpetuated, that created this feeling, this interpretation, this meaning in us that we feel that is, oh, nothing good is going to happen. Nothing good is going to happen. It's always, you know, it's going to fail and blah, blah, blah. And all the negative shit, right? We have to release it. We have to drop it by honoring the positive, giving appreciation and gratitude to yourself. Okay. Write a gratitude journal every day or sit in meditation in silence every day by yourself. Take 3 to 5 minutes every day before the end of your day, before the start of your day. So important to remind your brain, remind your soul that, oh, today I'm better than yesterday, right? And then the next day comes along, and the next day is better than today. That's how we grow. That's how we evolve. And that's how we become better. And that's how we create a new destiny. Okay? So I really, really want to encourage you all, women, you deserve a much better life. You don't deserve to be, in that emotional mental hell. And there is a whole world out there once you step up. There is, because I have gone through it. I've gone through that period in my life whereby everything that happens, I will take it to mean that it's something bad. I will hear abandonment. I will hear this person is abandoning me. They're letting me go. They're rejecting me. They're going to hurt me. It's not going to use. Everything is useless. It's pointless. All this were literally what I hear, no matter what the person was saying to me, because I had this inside me, and it just triggers. Even I had the best deal. I would screw it up. And when I was investment bank, it was such an uphill task, when I got a deal, when I was working on it, a part of me literally created that, it's too good to be true. It's too good to be true. And boom, the deal fell off. So I still remember got one time I had this very big deal, right? And then I was like looking, I don't want to pay the taxes. and I literally poisoned it with my mind, and I lost that deal. It was a very big deal. And it was enough to be, on the Business Times kind of a financing deal. And I was part of the team that was arranging it. And I still remember that I literally poisoned it with my mind, because I was thinking, oh dear, I need to pay this amount of taxes if this deal passed. And lo and behold, I pushed it away. Something really unimaginable happened to the CEO, and then the deal just fell off. So it takes a lot of self-awareness, and it takes it takes that intention to let it go. Just let it go. Just tell yourself, I let it go now, right? And every day I let it go. I let go the negativity. I let go all the toxic thoughts, those are not mine. Someone else's thoughts. Someone else's put that voice in me that I'm not good enough, that I don't deserve the good things in life, that I only attract negativity. You have to let that go. Like, say consciously with me now, I let it go. I release it. I let go all of those negative thoughts and my negative voices in my head that's telling me that I don't deserve good things in life, that no positive things will happen. I need to let it go right now. And I release it, and whoosh, I bless and release, and I send it off. I don't care whose voices are those. They're not mine. I let it go. I deserve good things. I attract good things. I attract positive change. Say that to yourself every day, and do a gratitude journal. Write down, today, how am I better than yesterday? What is better? What is working for me? My children came back home safe and sound. My loved ones are with me. Everyone is happy. Everyone can stand and walk. Look for the good. And I promise you, when you look for the good and you look for what is right, more will come. You will attract more of what is working. You will attract more of the positive outcomes that you want. Instead of focusing on what you fear most, you should be focusing on what we want to create, because that is a fact. Quantum physics have proven it. Science has proven it. We attract and we create our own reality. Today is the day that you start to let go. If you're watching this, let go all those negative, toxic thoughts that accumulated in the first place. Don't know from where. You don't have to understand it. Just say, I release all those negative thoughts that have been controlling my mind. I don't care where they came from. They're not even mine. I release it. I deserve good things to happen. It's safe for me to deserve and to expect and to attract the good things, the right things, things that are working in life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Today it starts. Then please write a gratitude journal, okay? Okay, so I'm literally talking until I'm losing my voice. I hope I've been able to serve you well with my very sexy, husky voice. If you're watching this and you like this and you feel inspired by this, please send me an emoji, comment an emoji, send me some love bombs, and let me know how it's benefiting you. And that's it for this video. Hope I've been able to serve you well. Sending you so much love. All is well. All will be well. Okay. Goodbye for now.